The book of Ruth is a beautiful story about love, loss, and believing in God. It's a story everyone can relate to. It talks about what it means to be human. Imagine a young woman, Ruth, whose husband died too young. She leaves her home. She goes with her mother-in-law Naomi to a new place. They travel together, not knowing what the future holds. Naomi is also a widow. She's going back to Bethlehem where she grew up. She's very sad. Her husband and sons have died. She feels all alone. But Ruth is there for her. Ruth won't leave her. Ruth is super loyal to Naomi. She promises to stay with Naomi and believe in her God. This shows how strong women can be. Their bond is stronger than their different cultures or religions. It shows what it means to be a good person, to care for each other, to love one another. This is just the start of their trip. A trip that will be hard. A trip that will change them. A trip that will lead to something amazing. Ruth's journey starts in Moab. It's a place east of the Jordan River. It's a place with different beliefs than Ruth's new family. But something terrible happens to Naomi's family. Naomi's husband and 2 sons die. Now, only Naomi and her daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah, are left. Naomi is very sad and decides to go back to Bethlehem. She tells her daughters-in-law to stay in Moab. She wants them to go back to their own families. Orpah, with a heavy heart, stays. But Ruth says no. She can't leave Naomi. Ruth says something very beautiful to Naomi. "Don't make me leave you. Wherever you go, I'll go. Wherever you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." These words show how loyal Ruth is. She's making a big promise. Ruth is ready to go to a new place with Naomi, even though it's scary. She's ready for a new home. She's ready to believe in a new God. So they start their trip together, a trip full of hope, a trip full of faith, a trip that will change their lives. When they get to Bethlehem, Naomi and Ruth find it hard to be widows. It's a place where men have most of the power. They are poor, they don't have any money. Ruth wants to take care of herself and Naomi, so she starts gleaning in the fields. Gleaning is something poor people did a long time ago in Israel. They would pick up leftover grain after the harvest. It was a way to make sure everyone had food, even the poorest people. Ruth gleaning isn't just about getting food, it shows she trusts God. She believes God will take care of her. She believes God will help her. As luck would have it, Ruth gleans in the fields of a rich man named Boaz. Boaz is related to Naomi's dead husband. He's a very good man. He is known for being kind and generous. Boaz sees Ruth working hard. He's impressed. He asks about her. He learns how loyal she is to Naomi. He's touched by her story. Section 4. Family and helping out. Boaz's role. Boaz follows an old tradition of helping family. He takes care of Ruth. He doesn't think she's a stranger or a problem. He sees she deserves respect and help. He's kind to her, makes sure she has enough to eat, and keeps her safe. What Boaz does shows how important family was in Israel a long time ago. A family member, called a goel, had to help the family of someone who died. This meant buying back land, marrying a widow, and taking care of them. Boaz knows he should help, so he decides to be a goel for Naomi and Ruth. He likes Ruth. He admires her loyalty. He sees she's a good person. But there's a problem. Another relative, who is closer to Naomi's late husband, should help first. Boaz is honest, so he talks to this relative and asks him to do his duty. The relative doesn't want to give up his own money, so he says no. Now Boaz can marry Ruth. Section 5. Believing in God, Ruth, David, and Jesus. Boaz and Ruth getting married shows that God keeps his promises. It's a story about love and new beginnings. People have loved this story for a long time. Boaz and Ruth have a son, Obed. Obed becomes the grandfather of David, who will be king of Israel one day. And through David's family, Jesus the Messiah is born. Ruth, from Moab, becomes one of Jesus' ancestors. The book of Ruth shows us that God's plans are surprising. God works in mysterious ways. He can use anyone, no matter where they come from or what their life is like, to do what he wants. Ruth's story inspires us. It teaches us about loyalty, faith, and being kind to people who need help. It's a story that still matters today. It reminds us that God keeps his promises, and that his love lasts forever. Thank you for watching. There is a PayPal link if you want to support my work. May the Creator bless you always.